let's kick off with Argylle, which is the fresh thing that we've seen in the cinema this week. And now, okay, the things I know about Argylle are that it's actually this is actually quite a, it's even from the trailer, it's a difficult film to describe, because from what I saw in the trailer, it starts off with Henry Cavill playing this super agent, think James Bond with a weird haircut.
Very weird hair.
Yeah, so like playing this super agent, and he's like doing this whole like secret agent thing. Then it stops, and they find out that he's actually in a book, and he's being written by somebody. But then it turns out that this author who's writing him has somehow started writing about world affairs and giving like actual real world secrets in her writing. So people are actually going after her. So a real life agent played by Sam Rockwell shows up to protect her. That's what I know about this film. That's general gist.
That's basically it.
So Sean, okay, so from that being the setup, tell us more about Argylle, and then we'll find out what Holly thinks as well.
Okay, so I guess Holly's thinking first, but anyway, let's go. So Argylle, that's basically it. So that's the basic premise. So it turns out it's a book, and you get like these. What I'm assuming is the book. So that starts off the first scene. You've got the Henry Cavill character, and is it Cena? What's his name? The Cena dude, and they're like,
John Cena, yeah.
John Cena, and they start off. So that's how it starts off. You see that, and then it goes to this lady that you find out it's like you said, it's a fictional book.
Yeah.
And so she's going to visit her parents. She goes on a train. There's this really good looking. Well, I don't know.
I should add, having done book finding first, and then having a bit of a, she's finished a book, but has a little bit, or thinks she's finished a book, but has a bit of writer's block, and she's encouraged to push on and manage one more chapter.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you, Holly. Yeah, no, it was the first bloke good looking that was on the train that asked to would you
yeah, he was a nice looking man.
He was a nice looking man. Okay, thanks, Holly. I always have to do that
Okay, we're laughing because obviously people who are listening to this cannot see Holly's face, and Holly just did one of those side eye, suck your lips in a bit and nod, just like
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen uglier people in films. I've seen uglier people in this film, in fact. So.
Yeah. So the Sam Rockwell character turns up, like a hippie. Anyway, that's
looking uglier.
Looking uglier. Yeah, looking uglier. Thank you very much. And then he's just like you said, he's a protector of. And then there's all these adventures and fighting, and just gradually all this bit of a conspiracy thing going on here, and the people that you think are good people turn out to be not so good people, and you've got all the tech, and you've got like.
I expect it to be that they go on the run and then japes ensue. Like it's going to be a jape. It's going to be a jape.
Japes is the word. Yes.
And almost kind of like like a bit of
a capers. Japes and capers.
Japes and capers, and there's going to be like a bit of like a romance in the stone thing where they manage to do all this while bickering and being shot at. So, that's
you've got so much insight into these movies. It's uncanny.
Okay, so let's go away from that and let's get on to brass tacks and let's get to what did we think.
For me personally,
yes.
I thought, silly, and then I thought, well, okay, so if it's out of a book, so I thought, well, I'm going to try and be forgiving here because these things are out of a book, okay, so if someone's writing a book that can be fantastical, like the people, my big beefs with the punishment and what goes on.
Yes.
And then it just becomes a little bit, I'm getting overdone with this John Wick sort of stuff with like where they're fighting hundreds of people, you know what I mean, and just like the massive.
Well, the one-man army thing.
Like the one-man army, like with the beekeeper and as I say, there's more and more of these John Wicky sort of things coming, which we might talk about something later. But it's just like, oh come on, we've seen it all before. We've seen all this, and there is one. Yeah, there's a lot of silliness in it, should we say? A lot of silliness, a lot of japes. Yeah, a lot of japes.
Yeah, okay, a lot because this film always looked like when it was originally obviously directed by Matthew Vaughn, who did the Kingsman movies, did Kick-Ass, and when it was originally announced, it sounded like, oh, it's another one of those, like, kick-ass kind of. Then when the first trailer released, it was like, actually, no, this looks a lot, as to use your word, sillier. And when it gets silly, then it kind of has my attention, and I'm thinking, ooh, this might be my kind of silly. But I know that when it gets silly, it could go one of two ways with Sean. I know it could go one of two ways. It looks like it's going one way. Holly, what did you think?
It is absolutely ridiculous, completely and utterly ludicrous, and actually, I found hugely enjoyable.
Of course, you did.
It was one of those where there were times like, really, you're going with this? You are okay. That's good. And then it just made me laugh again. It's a funny film, and it was particularly funny for me seeing it straight after, well, with a brief break for pizza in between. Yay for Anchormanca, between American Fiction and this. So 2 films about novelists.
Novelists,
yes.
In a row. Had added something to it as well. So may have put me in a slightly different mindset to Sean as well, in that my head was already in books about books, or films about books.
Yes.
Films about people writing books.
Yes.
So I was probably thinking in the wrong direction or something, but I found it really enjoyable. And both Steph and I laughed through it. We laughed through both of them, but really, really enjoyed just the pure foolishness of it.
I thought the acting was awful. That is the worst I've ever seen Samuel L. Jackson play. That was absolutely dire acting, and I don't care.
It was, to be fair, it was not good acting.
Thank you.
Well, okay.
I mean, all of the action.
He was just, He was trying to make. I think he was. To me, he was like a parody of himself. To me, I felt the Samuel L. Jackson character was just going through the motions. That's what it felt to me. There was nothing there. It was just like, oh well, feet up. Let's let's get my paycheck and let's do it.
Oh, okay. This is one of those.
This is another time we're thinking. This is like, it's another Bryce Dallas Howard film where we talk about other members of the cast going, wrong. I'm thinking, Jurassic World.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get in trouble with this, but she was sort of, I'm going to say the word, beefed up. Did you not think?
Yeah, I found it quite disconcerting, and that's I don't like to be. Never wish to judge on appearances, but she was
heavier than she usually is.
Yeah, she's normally petite as anything, and she's not. And that was a bit sort of, I want to say,
it was
disconcerting. It was just, she didn't quite look right, because she doesn't look the way you think.
Yeah, exactly. If you compare it to Jurassic, whatever she was in, the Jurassic one, whatever she was in,
Jurassic
totally
World,
different people. Jurassic World, yeah.
Yeah, different characters, but she looks, and actually that's probably a point in its favour as well. She looks very different. She actually looks much more like a normal person.
Yeah. So not to sound like that idiot. But I guess that's acting. That with the same person, the same person looks like 2 different characters.
Oh God, they can look like the same person can.
But then it's not the first time she's done that, and I think with her it's a lot more about what the character is like. So she was in the Black Mirror episode called Nosedive. And in that she was like, this character is bigger than I usually am. So she actually put on weight to play that role, and also at the same time. Christian Bale does it all the time. Christian Bale does it. That man has a pathological connection to gaining and losing weight. So for me,
it's not going to be good for his body in the long term.
No. So
yes, and I think it was clearly a conscious decision. It was which was therefore surprising, because everything I have seen her in recently, she is this very, very slim woman, and she's just not very slim. She just looks like a normal person. So it has an element of, and that's a bit weird for a film that's also completely ridiculous, that you have somebody who actually looks quite like a normal person. And actually, I think that's what Sam Rockwell brought to it as well, is also, in contrast to the fictional
idea of what this agent
what a
is.
spy looks like she's written about. He doesn't look like Henry Cavill. I mean, nobody but Henry Cavill looks like Henry Cavill.
So essentially, she imagines James Bond, and she got Michael Caine.
Broadly speaking, yes.
imagines James Bond and got Harry Palmer. So it's all right. So how many stars would you give this?
Go on then, Holly.
I'm going 4.
I knew you would.
We ummed and ahed about this. Steph and I talked about this afterwards, and I'd said 3, but I really enjoyed it.
That's good if
and
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I. So I think, and we agreed. We thought it was a 4 because it's a film that's delightfully ridiculous, and we will watch on the sofa on a Sunday afternoon whilst doing other things. And so, only giving it a 3 underrates the enjoyment of it.
All right.
Right. Well, on that, after agreeing with you everything about the holdovers, I have to totally disagree with you here. I was waiting to see. So, I mean, I might have to actually... I hated this film. I really loathed it. The acting was awful. The acting was the worst acting I've ever seen. And
you have not watched... Watch Monsternado, sir. Watch Monsternado. Then we can talk about the worst acting you've ever seen.
Samuel L. was just going through the motions. I didn't... it was just... it's just awful. So I'm going to give this a 1 star. And I will never watch this again. It's funny, I was going through films I'd watch again and films I'd watch again. I'd never watch this again.
Oh, Sean, you have saddened me. You have saddened me.
Sorry, mate. I'm sorry.
That is, I think that I am likely to be... because obviously I am sort of like housebound and not able to go to the cinema, I am left to essentially review movies from afar.
Yeah.
not even adjudicate. I'm left to review movies from afar, and I'm left to say what I think I would have given it if I had been able to see it.
Yes,
and this is a film that I saw from the trailers and everything like that. I think I would be a lot more in the Holly camp, but I think I would probably stop at a 3. So it's because it does look like my kind of silly. And I think, and I don't want to know, but depending on which bit of the movie the Samuel L. Jackson character shows up in, I figure that the 2 halves of this movie, there's the Henry Cavill part, and then there's the Henry Cavill and Dua Lipa part, and then there's the Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell part. And I think that those 2 parts of the movie might require 2 totally different types of performances.
I did actually look at the reviews on this one because I thought, can I just be wrong? And it is a total polar opposite. I've just seen the reviews. I looked at the reviews on IMDb, and there's one like 1s, and then there's ones that are 10s, and so it is a...
It does seem
polarizing.
It seems very polarizing, and I've heard that many people do not understand what happens at the end of the film. But don't tell me. I will go and figure it out when I see it and stuff. But
well, in which case, some people are a little bit slow because it's not that complicated. Oh no, actually, the very end is a bit weird. Okay, I'll give them that.
Right, cool. All right, then Holly, you might need to go to you're the one in London, so you might need to go to the Empire magazine offices and have a word with them because they couldn't understand the ending. All right, cool. So now
they are silly.